I've already tried to film this once and it was a disaster, so let's try this around too. I got my black tea here because y'all are in for a little honest tea. So today, this video might get a little crazy. I don't know. Recently, I've been watching a lot of videos from people like Rachel Whitehurst, whom I love, Sarah Hawkinson, and Loie Lane. A lot of people that I just feel very inspired to talk about body positivity and body image because of. And I want to kind of bring the two sides of both fitness and health and wellness and body positivity together in this video, or at least try to, because I feel like in the last year I have really discovered what that means to me. And I feel like in the last year I've gotten rid of like this miasma of thought that I've had on my own personal body and my diet and other people's bodies and diet. It is such a female problem to be constantly worried about how you look and how much you weigh and if you're doing enough, compared to the girl next to you, if that girl, what that girl is doing that's the secret to her success, why is she so happy, how can I be like her? So to start off, I kind of want to talk a little bit about what I used to be like. Like most girls probably, from the moment I could look in a fashion magazine or from the moment I could go on the internet, I was comparing myself to other girls. I was checking my weight. I would look up celebrities' weights, which they definitely doctor by the way, to see if I was like the same weight as fucking Emma Stone or like Mila Kunis. Like I just needed to make sure that like my collarbones were popping just as much as theirs were. And I started having rules for myself and regiments where I would have 3 things a day. I remember this really specifically. I would be allowed like breakfast cereal in the morning, an apple at lunch, and then like a granola bar at night. And if my mom asked questions or asked like why I wasn't eating dinner with the family, I would be like, I ate a lot of lunch at school. That would always be my thing. And I gave myself rituals, and I struggle with OCD and ICD, so that was not a healthy thing, but it really took over and it became this mentality of like, that is where my worth is. My physical appearance, my weight, that is where my worth is. And that put a lot of pressure and stress on me. And so I felt like I constantly had to overperform and be not just thin, but like scary thin. I wanted people to be worried about me constantly. And they were. It's scary in a lot of ways because I started developing heart palpitations. I would be incredibly weak. I had to drink coffee constantly because I felt so cold and tired all the time. None of it was good. And that was pretty much my entire high school until I turned about 18. When I turned 18, I moved out and moved to California, and I kind of like lost control a little bit because I was buying my own groceries, and like I went through these phases where I would binge eat on things that I knew weren't good for me, but I would eat them because I'd never had them before. And like I'd restricted myself since I was 14 years old, and now I'm 18, I'm on my own and I can do my own thing. I'm gonna eat whatever I want. So I would eat like 3 bags, like full-size bags of spicy hot Cheetos, because I fell in love with them. I get obsessive about things. And like, trust me, butthole fiery as fuck. Do not recommend. It would be stuff like that where I would feel like because it would like punish me or purge me later, I could get away with it. It was always like this view of like, I need to maintain a look constantly. And I think YouTube obviously didn't help that, because I would go on videos and I still to this day get comments that are like, why does your face look fat? Or like, why do you da-da-da-da-da? And just, I don't want to mention numbers in this video because I don't want to give girls something to compare themselves to, because I think that's the worst. So I'm not going to talk about what I am currently weighing, but the heaviest I ever was last year was the heaviest I've ever been. I was 123 pounds at 5'5". That was the heaviest I've ever been. At that level, people were calling me like fat, people were saying that I had an eating disorder, all this stuff that was just like gross and toxic. People were saying that my face looked fatter, that I hold fat in my face, like just terrible things. But that was my fear before that even happened. That was my fear, and that's why I would be so careful about maintaining a certain weight, because I've been doing this YouTube game for so fucking long. I've been around for way too long. I've been here for 7 years doing this, and in those 7 years, I have been a growing adolescent and adult. And like, I went through my formative years in front of a camera. I felt this great, immense, crazy pressure to perform in something that I never signed up for. I never signed up for people judging me based on my weight or judging me based on what I ate. Like, that was never an assumption, but because I'm a female on the internet, that's an innate assumption that other people make. And it's disgusting, but it's something that people do. And so it's just something I was living with. And last year I would wear things that would cover me up. And I had this one brand deal that I did that I absolutely hated because they were tank tops and I had to show my arms. And I felt so insecure about my arms. And it was just gross. Everything that I was feeling was gross. And this entire time, I had the most unhealthy view of food. Like, the view that I had on food was that it was this guilty thing that I had to eat to survive, but I didn't like at all. And like, I would binge on things and then feel really guilty about it, and then the next day I would do a juice cleanse and I would lose a couple pounds and I would feel great, and then I wouldn't be able to keep it up because I was starving myself. And it was just a constant cycle that I know a lot of women struggle with, but I in particular struggled with for a long time. And it was not until last year that that kind of changed. So what happened last year? Last year I started dating Will. Best decision of my life, love him to death. That boy can eat. He can eat. And I say that because he has the highest metabolism I've ever seen. He's like 6'3", he's stick thin, he can never gain weight, and he'll knock down like a Domino's pizza and a half a night, and he'd be like probably still rail thin. It was so nice dating him because we bonded a lot over food. Like, that's the main reason why I gained weight last year. That's why I was at my heaviest weight, was because I had love chub to the max. I was so smitten with him. Plus he likes his ass a little fat. So like, it didn't bother me that I was like eating pizza and enjoying someone who enjoyed my body, and like, you know, eating burgers and doing my own thing. And like, it was the first time that I ever ate food and didn't feel guilty after eating bad food. And I don't think that's a good thing, by the way, but I think it was a good thing for my mental health to be like not associating food as like this terrible disease-ridden thing that's gonna kill me. Like, I think it's good that I had a moment of clarity with food where I could just have fun with it. And that's what I felt with Will in the beginning of our relationship, and it was wonderful. Then I gained the weight, and I started seeing comments. I made the mistake of reading Guru Cowspiracy threads. I was very unhappy with myself. Didn't like the way I looked. Didn't like it at all. I started getting worried, and I started getting those same feelings of like, maybe I should eat 3 things a day again. I'm not kidding. I literally considered that last year. I was like, I could do that again, because that worked in high school, and I remember that working. And if I went back on that, I could get back down and no one would comment anymore, and I wouldn't have to see it anymore, and I wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. A large reason why I wasn't making videos last year was because I did feel really bad about the way I looked on camera. Didn't like the way I looked, didn't like the way I felt. It wasn't my favorite thing to be on camera. Later on last year, around Christmas time, actually, yeah, so about 6 months ago, I had a terrible stomach flu. I was like shitting for days. It was gross and it was painful and it didn't feel good, and the only thing I could eat while I had that stomach bug, if you know anything about like food poisoning or a stomach bug, you basically have to eat like miso soup and liquids and like white bread, and that's it, or you're gonna like, something's gonna happen. You're gonna be screaming eagle for like a long time. And I actually got down to like a pretty unhealthy weight that I hadn't seen in a while, and it was back into like my high school era, and I had those same thoughts where I was like, this is so great, this is so great. And it's like, why do we feel great about poisoning ourselves? Like, why do we feel great about the fact that we just got so ill that we lost weight, lost healthy weight on our bodies? Like, it was such a weird, gross feeling that I was excited about. But then something changed in my head. I went home and Will was still in London, and I had recently been watching a lot of documentaries. I had watched Cowspiracy, I had watched Vegucation, I had watched, I think it's called The Sugar Film, which was amazing. I highly recommend that film. And I had just watched a lot of stuff that changed my perception on the way I was eating and dieting and my fitness. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't work out. I don't remember the last time I went on an actual run. I walk, I enjoy getting out in the environment, but I don't remember the last time I sat in the gym and ran. And that's like, God honest truth. I realized my body is a temple. My body is something I need to respect, and it's something I need to fuel properly for that very reason, because I only get one of these. This is it for me until cyborgs happen. I'm very excited about that. But still, watching documentaries and educating myself on that fact made me realize how stupid my viewpoint was before. How stupid I was to take for granted what I've been given and use it as this vapid, vain thing instead of taking care of something that I've been issued and treating it like shit, honestly. Like treating my body like shit. Like forcing myself to go on extreme diets, forcing myself to feel bad about myself constantly when I should be respecting myself and respecting the way I feel and look. And I think the number one thing that helped was that I changed my diet and I educated myself. Another book that is amazing is How Not to Die by Dr. Greger, MD. I keep recommending this book to everyone, but How Not to Die is an amazing book for anyone who doesn't believe in like a plant-based diet or some kind of diet low in animal byproducts of any kind, because it's not like our media is telling us that we need to be eating healthier things. Our media is telling us that we need to be losing weight. There's a difference between those two things. We need more respect for ourselves, for our bodies, for the things that we're eating. It's just respect is so important, and it's what I've learned more than anything. I respect myself so much more now that I am respecting my body and respecting my mind and giving myself things that I know my body needs, not what I'm craving because I've been taught that's what I need from big companies. And I know I'm getting conspiracy theorist right now. If you watch any of those documentaries, anything that you read on big industry or big food industries, none of it's good. None of it's good for us, none of it's good for animals, none of it's good for anyone. And like, I don't want to sit on my soapbox and tell you that you're doing something wrong, because I am not one of those people. Finding your health is so much more important than making a weight. Also, your health is not a number. If there's anything I've learned from cleaning up my diet and being happy and healthy with my food, it's that you cannot tell a person's health from their weight. Like, and I know that's a crazy assumption to make, and I know there are gonna be so many people in the comments being like, what the fuck are you talking about? But what I'm saying is, there are people who are so thin that are suffering health-wise. I had heart palpitations, I was not doing well, I didn't have a period, and it was because I had a very unhealthy view of food, and I was stick thin. Anyone who saw me from the outside probably thought that person works out a ton and is super healthy, but I was not healthy. I was like dying from the inside out. So there's no way that you can tell that a person is healthy or not, and that's why you can't judge people. I have been eating super clean, I've been respecting my food, respecting myself, making sure that I'm paying careful attention to what I'm eating and what my body wants and needs, and that's it. Like, that's it, and I feel so much clearer and happier, and my brain feels better, and it's just amazing. Like, once you take power over your food and don't let it control you, it's like a crazy change that you feel. And I would recommend that if anybody doubts me, try it for like 2 weeks. Just try it. Will went out of town actually over the holidays, and we had to do long distance for a little bit, and I went completely full, nearly raw vegan for 2 weeks. And the way I felt and how much I shat was incredible. I know this was a super rambly video, and I'm sorry, but I just felt like I needed it. I needed to talk about it, and I wanted to talk about it, and I feel like you guys kind of wanted to talk about it too. I probably sound like a crazy person right now, but I'm full of food love right now. I'm also on my period, so I'm a little bit more emotional, but am I always on my period when I film videos? Please feel free to have a healthy discussion in the comment section, but just know if I get anything negative or if I get something from one side or the other fighting, I'm gonna delete all of it and block all of it. Y'all don't even know. I know this video is gonna be controversial, but I don't care. I wanna put it up. So there you go. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a big ol' like. Also subscribe. You can become a rosebud today. You can hang out in my garden whenever you like. And on that note, I will see you guys for the next video. Bye!